Welcome back. This is Thomas Triple T Tie with another new bullish crypto analysis. Let's dive in and take a look at Luna on the weekly, daily, and hourly chart. We have a chart from TradingView here, viewing the weekly chart, and Luna's got such a nice rise here, one of the best ones. So it reminds me a lot of Solana. Here we have a symmetrical triangle pattern. At the top dash line is the resistance, and at the bottom is the support. The weekly candles have been trending towards this converging point here. If the candle breaks above, it'll be bullish. If it breaks below, it'll be bearish. Or it could continue to go sideways and form a new pattern. And those are our three options. Let's take a look at the other indicators and see what that could look like. We have the Bollinger Band here. That's the top line. And we have the bottom portion of the Bollinger Band. Currently, it's at the upper portion near the top. And so that could signal an overbought. So that's bearish. Let's move down and take a look at the volume. Volume has been pretty much going horizontal, but it's starting to trend down slightly. Not a lot, just a little bit. For the KDJ line, we have the J line dropping below the K and the D line. And that's a little bit bearish, but it's going horizontal. All three of them are going horizontal. And that shows that there's indecision in the market. And if the J line, the white line here, trends down, it becomes bearish. But if it trends back up above the other two line, then it becomes bullish. Right now, there's a lot of indecision. For the MACD, this area down here, right below here, let me turn on my, okay. For the MACD here, we have, it's currently bullish with the histogram here. Typically it's green, but mine is white. But it's tapering off down here. You can see that. Yeah, the MACD line is the white line here, and the red line is the trend line. You can see the white line, the MACD line, leveling off, and the trend line is still going up, but it's going to cross, and the MACD line is going to drop below the red trend line. And what that will do is it'll turn this bullish histogram into a more bearish histogram, which is going to be red, or it's going to be red. Let's move on down to the next row where we have the RSI, which is the red line here, the CVD, which is the aqua line, and the momentum indicator, which is the MOM, which is the white line down here. MOM went up and touched the other two lines, and they converged to a point, and then MOM went down, the momentum indicator, the white line, and that's not good. That's bearish. You can see that when it trended down here, we had two weekly candles that were red, and then it's trending down, and then it's pretty much going horizontal. Now all three are going horizontal pretty much for the last 3 weeks. But MOM is trending down slightly, RSI is trending down slightly. So that is slight bearish signal. Not quite fully bearish, but it's bearish, slight bearish. So if you combine these signals together, there is a slight bearish indication that the price might drop. We already have a red weekly candle here, and if the next one is red, it will confirm some of these indications here. Let's switch on to the daily chart and see what's going on here. It's a pretty busy chart. So let's take a look at what has taken place. Luna has put in higher highs. Here's a higher high here, and a higher high here. So that was a pretty good trend. And then it had a low here, a higher low, and a higher low here. So those are all really good trends. But then it turned a little bearish. It put in a lower high right here, and then it put in another lower high. So there's a downward trend. The other indicator we want to take a look at is this 50-day moving average, this little pink line here. And so far it's been providing strong support for Luna. Luna would come down to it, bounce back up. Luna went down slightly below it, bounced back up, and it went back down here, bounced back up, went down below just slightly, bounced back up, and now guess what it's doing? It's just riding right along that 50-day moving average. And if it goes below that, it's going to be a bearish signal unless it bounced back up. It did that multiple times here. Additionally, we have a symmetrical triangle here, and Luna on the daily chart has been converging towards this point. And we have the top line, the top white dash line here, that's the resistance. We have the bottom white dash line here, that's the support. If it breaks above, it's going to be bullish. If it breaks below, it's going to be bearish. And if it consolidates sideways towards this point and then it'll form a new pattern, that could happen too. What we want to do is take a look at the other indicators below. Volume is trending slightly up. That's good. And then we want to take a look at the KDJ. KDJ is doing something really strange here. The J line, which is the white line, was trending up during this period, and you can see those white candles here. And then it dropped down, I turned it down, and then at a steep slope, and then it flattened out, but still trending down. It's touching the K, which is the blue line, and the D line, which is the orange line. They're all converging to a point. And if the J white line crosses below that, that's bearish. And it looks like it's going to do that. Let's go down one more row and take a look at the MACD. MACD looks, it's also really strange. The histogram is pretty collapsed. You can see that there's no real height on either top or bottom. Not very bullish or bearish. It's just really flat. And that shows indecision. And you can see that in the, confirmed that in the KDJ too. All three lines came to a point. This thing is flat. The MACD is flat. So that's neither bearish or bullish, but it's trending bearish. Because that if you look carefully in here, the white line, the MACD line, it may drop below the signal line, which is the red line. One more row down, let's take a look at RSI, which is in red. When also the CVD, cumulative volume, is the aqua line, and the momentum or the MOM indicator is in white. All three were trending up, which is bullish, and you can see during that period right here, we had an ascend in the price. And then they consolidated, they pretty much went sideways now. The CVD line is still trending up slightly. The MOM indicator is pretty much going horizontal, bouncing up and down, but pretty much going horizontal. RSI is also going horizontal. Again, it shows some indecision there. So this is a very strange period. The last 3 days has been 3-4 days here has been a lot of indecisions, and the market's trying to figure itself out. I would give it a couple days to find out what's going on here. more than likely it might trend down slightly and break out of this symmetrical triangle, or it could just shift and change. It depends on what the market says, but good time to wait. Let's go next to the hourly chart. We are now in the hourly chart, and you can see there this trend down here, pretty big dive here. And then we have what is called a rising wedge right here. It's a wedge and it's rising. And the hourly candles has been bouncing between the top resistance line and the bottom support line of the rising wedge. This is the rising wedge is an interesting pattern because you need a different confirmation, and that's usually in the volume. If the volume is decreasing like it is here, that's a confirmation that the rising wedge is gonna reverse course, and more that's high probability it's gonna reverse course and go down along this red line. Is it gonna go this far? Maybe not, but it might go down. High probability based on decrease in volume because it's divergent. This is going down while that's going up. That's going to follow this red line downward somewhere. Let's take a look at the other indicators. We have the J line trending down. You can see the J line went up and then it flattened out and starting to trend down slightly. Within a few hours, it might cross below unless it bounces off the K and the D line and go back up. But more than likely, it's going to go down, trend below those two. On the MACD, we have the MACD trending sideways. You can see the MACD line, which is the white line. It's really hard to see. It's really tiny. And the trend line is red. MACD is currently above it, but they're both flattening out with MACD still above. But if it continues to trend slightly down in the next few hours, it's going to turn bearish. And all these white histogram bars will turn red over here. For the row below, we have RSI in red. We have RSI in red, and we have the cumulative volume in aqua, and we have the momentum or MOM in white. All three are going horizontal. So that's some indecisions there. We're going to need to wait and see what's going to happen there. But it'll show itself. And that pretty much takes care of the technical analysis for Luna on the weekly, daily, and hourly chart. Just need some time to for it to show itself. If this video was of value to you, go ahead and smash the like, ring my bell, and hit subscribe. I'll see you next time. Take care.